And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break podcast. It's Lakers weekend, everyone. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here from Lakers Fast Break, Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcasts. This week's episode of the Pop Culture Cosmos is the multiverse for Friday, and I got a good one for you. I interview director Rob McCallum and his star of the new docu-series Nintendo 64 Quest, Jay Bartlett. I interview the guys on what it's all about, getting the Nintendo 64 collection in less than 2 weeks on a limited budget, and also as well what the good cause they're doing this for. So that we go ahead and talk about that, plus video games and a whole bunch more on the latest episode of the PC Multiverse. What's up, Eric? Great to have you here. Also, as well, go ahead and check out what we're doing at Inside Sports Fantasy Football. Of course, Joe Soro, he is driving, most likely on his way. What's up, Xbox? To Arizona. That's the last time I heard. So he's had, I don't know if he's going to be able to be available tonight or not. So if he is, he is. He isn't, he isn't. But it is Joe Soro, aka Simblades, SimbladesWithAY.com, and of course, Oxide Team 47 at LakersBall.com. Our good friend, of course, is John Costa. He is Clutch Talking Lakers Corner. Another good friend is Stone Hansen at Report_Court talking NBA draft prospects, which we'll talk about a certain NBA draft prospect making a lot of demands here. And I'm kind of irritated by that. That's coming up here in a sec. Plus, also, as well, of course, you got our good friends, the Lakerholics crew, Jamie Sweet, Laker Tom, Michael, as well, maybe even L Rob. Those guys will be on Sunday at noon. I'm going to go ahead and earmark Sunday at noon for the Lakerholics crew. Find out what they're doing each and every day when it concerns the Los Angeles Lakers at Lakerholics.com. Also, as well, of course, go ahead and check out the great stuff that Empire Jeff is doing, Lakers in 5. Also, of course, Daniel Berry Sports Highlights, and of course, John McCallion channel. All these great channels support. Plus, please support ours. We are here for you virtually every day, talking the Los Angeles Lakers like no one else, better than anybody out there. You need to let people know so we can get bigger and better right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. Yeah, I don't think in 4, I think they'll split. I think it'll go back to Minnesota and then to see what goes on from there. But I'd say right now it's going to go 5 at least. So we'll see. But the surprising turnabout for Minnesota as they played host to Dallas, before we get to the Bronny James latest kerfuffle, want to go ahead and mention that it was game 2 today, Minnesota and, of course, Dallas. Dallas coming in already up 1-0. Minnesota making an early statement, up by as much as 15, taking a 12-point lead at the half. And then in the second half, Luka started to take over. Luka dominated the game. Frank, he's got a lot of smiles right now. Frank is very happy, up 2-0. Again, well done by your team. It is the offense of Minnesota plus the defense of Dallas that really is the key to this series, because the ineffectiveness of 2 guys, their 2 top stars, Anthony Edwards and also as well Karl Anthony Towns, really big key. Their inefficient shooting, really part of it. A lot of the shots are made uneasy by the Dallas defense, but they're just missing open shots themselves. But when it came down to it, they had the opportunity, still up by 5 points heading into the final minute of the ball game. 2 costly turnovers. And also, Frank, you also got to admit, Frank, you guys got a gift. Them not calling a foul on Jaden McDaniels, because he did whack his arm. In order for Jaden McDaniels to drop that ball out of bounds, he did get whacked on the arm. We're just going to go ahead and leave that there for you. So you guys got a gift. But still, it was 2 mistakes down the stretch by Minnesota, costing them as, of course, Luka Doncic hits the step back 3, something that you should be better defending at, because that's all he does is step back threes on that, all, right there on that shot all the time. You should be prepared for it and make him do something else. You don't, you pay the price. That's what he does, and he knocked it down. All credit to him that again. And Minnesota gives Dallas Mavericks a gift. 2 mistakes down the stretch. Well, yep. And by the way, Dallas got away with it. Dallas got away with the call tonight. Dallas got lucky. The refs blew it, and Minnesota again, they left it up to the refs to go ahead and decide the game. And you know what? That's what you get. Minnesota made the mistake. Plus, going for a 3-point shot when you're only down 1 was kind of a stupid move as well. But hey, mistakes are made by this young team, and Dallas, you get all the credit. You got to go. Yeah, Rudy looks dazed and confused. Well, he is dazed and confused because the Dallas Mavericks are up 2-0 as they head back to Dallas for game 3 with a 2-0 lead after a 1-point victory tonight. Again, I think they're going to go ahead and split in Dallas because, as we've seen, Minnesota has played well on the road. I think they are going to split one, but I think Dallas is going to get it, commanding 3-1 lead. So we'll see what happens here over the course of the next few days with Dallas playing host to Minnesota. So we'll see what happens. But Ant and Cat supposedly the best shooting big man of all time, and Ant the second coming of Michael Jordan. If you listen to some people earlier in this playoff series, they have not gotten it done. They have been bad in both games, and that is the primary reason why they are not up 2-0, that they are down 2-0. When you shoot as bad as those two have been shooting, this game wasn't much better. They were 9 of 33 combined. Absolutely terrible. Your 2 top players not getting it done when you need them the most. And you know what? Dallas deserves a ton of credit. Jason Kidd, I know this hurts you, Frank, but Jason Kidd gets a lot of credit for getting this defense together to the point where they're making it tough on Minnesota. And you know what? They are going back with a 2-0 lead on Minnesota as they head back to Dallas. Yes. Yeah, I can say Cat is reliable as D'Lo. Well, that's not good if you're near number 2. That's true. That's not good at all if that's the case. The quote-unquote best shooting big man of all time has not gotten it done so far in this series, and that's been a big part of why they're down 0-2. And again, I don't want to hear any comparisons for Ant Edwards and Michael Jordan. So yeah, Frank, yeah, exactly. It's the same thing I say about the Lakers. When we talk smack on the Lakers, if we are proven wrong, that means the Lakers win. So where's the downfall in that? So if either Frank, you're right, or the Dallas Mavericks win. So yes, where's the downfall in that indeed? So Frank, congratulations. Truly happy for you that the team of your choice is headed back to Dallas with a 2-0 lead. Of course, we're seeing a great performance by Luka Doncic, struggling out with the knee, struggling there, getting it done, getting by, feeling better every time he hits one of those step back threes. It's just amazing. You can know the step back as 3 is coming. You know it's coming each and every time he does it, yet he still gets away with it each and every time. But with these defenders, whether it's the Lakers, whether it's Minnesota, whether it's anybody, they just let him keep shooting that step back 3 time and time and time again. And you know what? All credit to Luka Doncic on that. And also Kyrie Irving giving you some clutch baskets. Really looked better in game 1. Game 2, he just kind of struggled, and really they played some pretty good defense on him. But you know what? He was able to go ahead and make enough plays to get the job done. JSJ, Gerald, the Lakers are cooked. Absolutely right now. We look like we're cooked indeed. But what are you going to do? Because now we may be forced, our team may be forced to go ahead and draft someone we may not have wanted to draft. And I'll talk about that in a minute. But it is, of course, the Dallas Mavericks heading back 2-0. I want to give all props to Frank. His team is really looking good. And hopefully they can, if that's the case, they can get it done ASAP, because they'll have Boston waiting for them very shortly. So if that's the case, so guys better turn your attention to Boston a little bit more and to see how they can go ahead and defend Tatum and Brown, because that'll be the key for their victory or for their success if they were to go ahead and match up, which is looking more and more likely after tonight's 1-point victory by Luka in the clutch. Daniel Barry Sports Highlights. He just mentioned it. Luka in the clutch. Yo, great to have you here, my friend. Yeah, Luka needs to be at 100%. His knee issues, which hurts on one end, doesn't hurt on the other. Sometimes it hurts, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes he's limping, sometimes he's not. Looks good on his fadeaways, sometimes it's not. When he misses, it hurts. When he makes it, it feels fine. I don't know, Frank. Some of it's theatrics, some of it's not. Some of it's legit, some of it's not. But okay, it is what it is with Luka. You can't whine at the refs the whole time because they're letting a lot of stuff go. And, obviously he needs to go in and focus. So, again, he is getting it done first and foremost. Doesn't matter who he's whining at, who he's faking an injury to or not. Doesn't matter. He is getting it done. And guess what? They're up 2-0 heading back to Dallas. But it is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break. Truly appreciate you joining us. It's Gerald Glassford. Thanks so much for watching this thing. We're going to have a little bit of a shortened version right here, Lakers weekend, because the guys I think are busy. Magic Man is probably sleeping right now since it's past midnight his time. Joe is heading to Arizona, I believe, for the weekend. Watch out, Arizona. Here comes Joe. And everybody else, I think, is getting ready for a great Memorial Day weekend. And hopefully you and your family have a safe and happy Memorial Day weekend as well. But again, it is the Dallas Mavericks winning the game 109-108. They're taking 2-0 lead tomorrow. On the docket for this weekend, what we have coming up is the Celtics and Pacers game 3. That's at 5:30. Just to let everyone know, on ABC, it's a primetime game. And then Sunday is game 3 of Timberwolves and the Mavericks in Dallas. Again, I'm thinking they'll split, but you know what? We'll see what happens. I think that if the Mavericks go up 3-0, you could pretty much count it over for this series if that's the case. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens when Dallas and Minnesota meet up on Sunday, and also as well when Boston meets up with Indiana tomorrow in Indiana. We'll see what happens there. Bloodhound, yes, that Ant, and believe me, if you look online, that Ant MJ narrative had started. So Frank says he'll be surprised if they sweep Minnesota. I would be too. Minnesota, as you saw, played very well on the road. So maybe that's their comfort zone, is playing on the road. Maybe they're just one of those few teams that does play better on the road than they do at home. And if that's the case, I think they'll split one. But if Dallas gets that first game, you and I both know what the record is all time for 3-0 teams. So that's the game I think that's most important for you guys, is to go up 3-0. And if that's the case, yeah, that's right now statistically too much for any team to overcome. But we will see this weekend, and hopefully we will be able to report on it on both Saturday and Sunday. We'll see what we can do on that. But it's Gerald Glassford. But I wanted to go ahead and mention to you guys out there, you Lakers fans like me, about Bronny James, because something came alongside through Chris Haynes of TNT and Bleacher Report that Rich Paul, agent for Bronny James, we know Rich Paul is the major force behind Klutch, the company that represents a lot of the Lakers and a few basketball players out there. Agent Rich Paul says he wouldn't have Bronny James sign a 2-way contract. So, all right. I'm just going to say that when the question was posed to Rich Paul from Bleach Report, is it true that you wouldn't sign Bronny to a 2-way contract? Rich Paul responded, yes, that's absolutely true. Teams know that. I'm not doing that. If a 2-way were the only path forward for Bronny, he could still return to college in the transfer portal, but he will have other options. Okay. I don't know what those other options may be. Europe, I don't know. Australia, who knows? But for Bronny, he has to develop in the G League. him getting drafted and staying up on a big league roster is not in his best interest. He needs a lot of time in a development status. I personally, it would be in college, but what this does, I know Yaikin, yeah, he is, and he's getting, the problem is, Yaikin, that he is getting a lot of people to put money down on him as the number 1 overall draft pick. In fact, he has gotten more money put on him because of the long odds at 200 to 1 than anyone else, which is, yeah, absolutely, JSJ. You and I both agree that it's a waste of money. But Bloodhound says Bronny needs a 3-way contract, the 3rd way being a job at Klutch Sports. Eric, it is a waste of saying Eric is a waste saying it's a waste of a pick if he is not going to develop in the G League. I agree, but to me, I think it's a waste of a pick anyways, because, if you say that and you're trying to force the hand of a team, primarily the Lakers, because one would assume that, the Lakers are trying to make a certain individual father happy, not only with a new contract of his own come July the 1st or thereabouts, but also as well by signing his son to a contract or drafting him. And ESPN and other outlets, I saw Tankathon yesterday move him into 55 because they are understanding what's going on. ESPN moving him up like it's an actual prospect that moved up to number 54, conveniently up to number 54. I think that's egregious. I think that's absolutely atrocious. He is, for instance, put it this way. His teammate, Boogie Ellis, a senior who played at USC also as well with him and Isaiah Collier. Isaiah Collier is still considered now he's dropping farther in the draft. He's now considered a 15 to 25 pick in the draft right now from what I've seen. But Boogie Ellis is considered I think right around number 100 on the ESPN list. But who moves up to number 54 prospect on ESPN charts? None other than Bronny James. And where do the Lakers pick? Number 55. You cannot tell me with a straight face that he is the 54th best prospect in this year's draft. It's just not funny. It's just not real, and it's just not something I'm jiving with. I've been looking at prospects now for a long time. I have off and on done it a lot harder, some years a lot more judiciously than others. This year, because it's a weak draft, I haven't really focused a whole lot of attention on it. I've seen some footage of some of the draft prospects in and around where the Lakers might pick at number 17. But I have spent time looking at Bronny from his days at USC, when he was at USC. And again, I don't see anything there that tells me he should be ahead of 4-year players, ahead of 3 or 2-year players that have played well and played big minutes in college basketball or overseas ahead of them. I think it's absolutely atrocious for a guy that's 6'1" and cannot shoot consistently, or has not been able to prove he can shoot consistency as of yet. So yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. Collier is a work in progress. Yes, all these kids are a work in progress to some extent, Eric. So I get it. But to tell me that Bronny James is the 54th highest prospect in this year's draft tells me, A, this draft prospects out there are rather weak core as a whole, and B, you're just doing it for clicks. You're just doing it for clicks, and you know it. That's what ESPN does. Tankathon just fell into the trap because they know the inevitability of what most likely will happen. And this assessment by Rich Paul stating that Bronny James will accept nothing other than being drafted, it's arrogant. And it's really, really, really very, very concerning. So yeah, I'm very, very dismayed by what I see with this. And it just seems to me that somebody is trying to dictate exactly what's going on. DJ Burns, I know he's lost a ton of weight. I'm gonna go look it up now. I heard the other day it was like over 30. Oh, it's actually he's lost 45 pounds so far. So he is 6'9", still what, 260, 270? He does not rebound well, Eric. That's the only thing that concerns me. For a guy that big, he does not rebound very well. And that is what really would concern me if I would take him. We've already seen some players like Kenny Lofton. Memphis gave him a chance, but didn't follow through on it. I think they waived him, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if he's still in the league or not. But yeah, it's not. I don't see him as a viable NBA player because the fact that his numbers at NC State for a guy his size should have stood out better, especially on the rebounding end. Hi, son. Thank you for being here. I kind of disagree with you that the Lakers should not draft Bronny. I think it wastes an opportunity at 55 for them to get a real prospect because I don't see Bronny as a draft prospect. He is not a good one. He is not the 54th ranked prospect when I look at the prospects that are in and around that area. I really do not think he is ready for NBA ball. I think he needs to go back to USC. He should not go to Ohio State or anywhere else. He's got an open roster spot at USC with a new coach that has a proven winning record in Eric Musselman. He could be the starting shooting guard there and take all the shots and get all the ups and reps he needs right there at USC, and chooses not. But Westy, don't say that. You say that it doesn't matter. If you're a team that evaluates talent well, there's no reason why you should be saying waste a draft pick or draft and stash, which teams often do. There have been draft picks like, for instance, Isaiah Thomas, the guy that was played for Phoenix, played for Boston, just as actually did a stint at Phoenix again. He was one time an MVP candidate. He was the number 60 draft choice. We've seen Rick Brunson and also as well Nikola Jokic strive and thrive in the league as second round draft choices. So if you want to throw away that draft choice by going with Bronny, it's looking more like that's going to be the case because with Rich Paul's statements on Bronny James that he will not accept a two-way contract, that's basically forcing the hands of the Lakers into drafting him at number 55, because I don't think any other team outside of maybe Indiana, who has 3 second-round draft picks, are willing to go ahead and put up with that. So JSJ says, I don't know how Bronny has fans defending him. It's based off the last name, JSJ. It's based off the last name. They don't look at the talent. They don't look at the results. They don't look at what's there. They just see what's on the back of the jersey and they say James. They don't see the fact that he measured out to 6'1" as a mediocre or below shooting guard, which, yeah. Corbina says Bryce James is going to be the son who becomes LeBron 2.0. Now that's different, Corbina. I've said that for quite some time now, and I've been shut down and put down on that several times about how Bryce James, I thought, would be the better of the James brothers. He is already taller than his brother, and I think he's more athletically gifted. I don't know his stats as far as the shooting stats are still need of improvement, as everyone that at that age is. So, but I have the games I have seen Bryson, I have been more impressed with his skill set than what I think Bronny James has and can bring. I think it's a good thing, Iceland says. I like DJ Burns as well. Iceland, I also follow basketball a lot. And when you're 6'9", 300 pounds, and only averaging 4 rebounds a game, that's troubling. That should be troubling to you, that someone that size who takes up that much space rebounds the ball so little, which I'm glad that he's actually lost that weight for his own long-term health. Will that translate into enough quickness and speed? We'll see. You got to remember his commensurate is Lofton, who actually was a much better scorer coming out of college and getting into the league. And we saw him really light it up in the G League and also as well in Summer League. And he's not been able to translate that yet into the NBA. He's only gotten some spare moments in the NBA, but Memphis is not willing to stick with him. I think they did let him go. So Kenny Lofton would be my commensurate on that. I think he's substantially better than DJ Burns. So the problem is he has to rebound better. Zach Randolph, SD Hydro, was he was a much better rebounder and scorer in the league, or even actually coming out of college ahead of what DJ Burns was. So DJ Burns, I know people just like watched him just for a little bit right around the time of the tournament, and they just like, oh yeah, he's good. Don't base your entire synopsis off of what you saw in just one or two games when it comes to DJ Burns. It has to be the full body of work. Lofton's on the Jazz now. Thank you. Yeah, I know he went somewhere. I just didn't know where because, yeah, I know that Memphis let him go. So we'll see what happens when he's on the Jazz. I think Lofton still has a future in the league, but I'm hoping he'll be able to just lose a little bit more weight to be able to go ahead and stay in the league. And I think as a scorer, I think he can stretch it out to the three effectively. I think he can and still has a chance to make in the league. DJ Burns, I just don't think, again, his jump shot, again, he always needs improvement, but his fact that he has not been able to rebound well for that kind of size, I think should put up some red flags for a lot of team up there. So we'll wait and see. Ison says, I want to see a father and son play together on the same team. Now say that. Now, Ison, that's different. Okay, if you're saying that the Lakers should draft Bronny James just because you want to see that, now that's fine because you're admitting that's what you want to see. If you're saying because he's that, or somebody else is saying that because he's that good, that's where you're mistaken. Because if you see a lot of basketball out there, you understand Bronny James is not that level right now. Will he ever get to that level as far as becoming an effective NBA player? I don't know. We'll see. But again, I think he should have gone back to USC, been the starting shooting guard. He's going to have plenty of ups and plenty of reps if he goes back there. But again, he'll probably go ahead and make the wrong decision and probably move on to some portal and transfer portal if he decides to go back to college or get drafted and really, really become a target for others in the league. That's the other thing I worry about for the kid, because the kid, he is setting himself up for really a lot of targets for him, because a lot of people in the league will go ahead and try to use him and abuse him on the defensive end. They'll try to make an example of him and make him look bad at every opportunity. So we'll wait and see. Again, it is Rich Paul, the head of Klutch, stating that Bronny James, should he not be drafted, will not accept a two-way offer from any team in the league, which again to me is very concerning if you're a team that's drafting in that second round. So SD says, what if Bronny helps the Lakers win a title next year? I hope you didn't say that with a straight face, SD Hydro. I hope you didn't. I hope you didn't. Then I'll ask you, are you and Laker Tom sharing the same beverages or smoking the same medicinal products, so to speak? So Bloodhound says, speaking of examples, what Luka did to Gobert on the bot switch, absolutely, Bloodhound. You know what? Luka hit the shot. All power to him for hitting that shot. But again, it's cool, bro. It's a possibility. It's a possibility. That's why I'm doing the show tonight. But Bloodhound, when it comes to Luka and Gobert, Gobert, you should know if you are really, really understanding of Luka's game, as he did several times at that step back three, you've got to go ahead and guard against that step back three every single time. Just make him drive, which he's still great at and fantastic at. But that step back three is his thing. And it's just amazing how many times he gets it off when you know it's coming. But still, Minnesota, the refs missed the call on the Jaden McDaniels play that he threw the ball out, dropped the ball out of bounds because he was smacked on the arm. We all saw it there, but I guess they can't overturn that. So, Isun, they are just very inefficient with their offense. When you have your top two players in Anthony Edwards and also Karl Anthony Towns, the self-proclaimed best shooting big man of all time. Yeah, you cannot say these things and then have two awful games when they mean the most. An Ant who, again, Bloodhound, I started seeing on social media supposed comparisons to Michael Jordan. We've talked about it on this show. Joe and Sean mentioned it as well, as far as hearing those comparisons and how we just say, okay, slow down a little bit on these comparisons. Well, again, after the first two games, we could really slow down because they needed Ant to go ahead and really deliver and perform for them at a high level. And although he did play better defense against Kyrie Irving today, maybe it wore on him. We saw him put on the oxygen mask, so he was getting an extra blow. So maybe that means he's tired, but how old is he? If he's that young, 23, I think. So if he's that young and having these issues, that's a problem. Luka, with his knee that seems to go haywire every time things are going against him, but is doing fine every time things are going well for him. You know what? Hey, give him all the credit. He hit the shots, but Minnesota gave them every opportunity to go ahead and win this game, and the refs did as well. You know what? It is what it is. The Lakers didn't get calls for them, and they're out right now. They're in Cancun. And the Minnesota, if they're not careful and they don't win game 3, they could be very well on their way to Cancun as well. San Diego is a beautiful place, Bloodhound. I couldn't agree with you more. I really enjoy my time anytime I'm there. San Diego, La Jolla area. I was there earlier this year, and absolutely should. Yeah, absolutely. And you're right, Isan. Maybe you should blame it on the oxygen tank. But yeah, 2 bad games, 2 bad shooting games by your top 2 players. If LeBron and AD had really bad shooting games, we're toast. And that's what you're seeing here. They're number 1 and number 2 guys, bad shooting games, bad offense, gets to ISO way too much, looks really ugly. And you know what? They deserve what you get. Lakers Nation, we aren't drafting Bronny. No thanks, Charlotte Hornets. We will pass on him and send him to the Charlotte Hornets instead. I hope you're right, Lakers Nation. I certainly hope you're right, because if that's the case, that would be better, because he's not an NBA ready prospect. He needs to go somewhere else. Maybe Indiana wants to throw a draft pick at him. I don't know. But when Rich Paul comes to, makes these demands saying that they will not accept, who in the world is Bronny James to go ahead and or his representation say, you know what, we're going to go ahead and not accept a 2-way offer if he doesn't get drafted? That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. If you're doing it because you want a bigger payday in Europe or China or Australia, okay, I'll give that to you. But if you're doing it because you just think it's beneath you, that a 2-way deal is not good enough for you, then that's a problem. I mean, Austin Reeves kind of worked out for him being an undrafted player. Look at how well he's played. Several undrafted players on, the Miami teams and others who have thrived in the league with an undrafted status that started off with a 2-way, they have decided to go ahead and say it's good enough for them. So I don't know. Absolutely. That's the wrong mentality. It's the wrong mindset. And I had to go ahead and vent to you guys how displeased I am in regards to this. I just think it's very arrogant on the part of Rich Paul to say that, especially when it's such a privilege to be a part of the NBA and be one of those select few people who can be at that level, which we don't, or many of us don't even think Bronny is at that level right now. Cool Bro says, Gerald, is there anybody that can beat Thor? Well, according to the movies, Thanos beat Thor for a while until, later on when he got his head sliced off, but after it was all said and done. But he did kind of beat Thor and did the snap. So we'll go from there. But it is, of course, the Lakers fast break. It is, of course, Gerald Glassford here. Thanks again for watching, listening. I do definitely have scheduled the Lakerholics crew that I will go ahead after the show tonight and put in there for you for Sunday at noon. They said they wanted to go ahead and chat up on the Lakers coaching search, plus also as well their thoughts coming up on the NBA draft and possible trades that are out there. I disagree with you on that, Cool Bro, and I'll just leave it at that. But it is, of course, the Lakers fast break. I do truly want to thank you for joining us. All the new faces from all the new places, thank you so much. Please like and subscribe to get the latest notifications on when I go live on the air or when we go live on the air with the latest Lakers fast break. If it's not John Costa, if it's not Magic Man Sean Grice, if it's not Joe Soro coming with you at a nightcap, it's me, Gerald Glassford, Laker Tom and Jamie Sweet, the Lakerholics crew. Stone Hansen from @reports_court. Got so many faces giving you so many opinions on the NBA and the Los Angeles Lakers, all right here at the Lakers Fast Break. Lakers Nation says, Bronny going to Charlotte Hornets. Our Lakers will not draft Bronny. Bye, Bronny. Send Bronny to the Charlotte Hornets. That's the only team that wants him, and the team wants him. Well, let's take a look at that. I'm going to pull up the Tankathon draft right now. So let's say the Charlotte Hornets were interested in him. Let's see where they pick. They pick at number 42 in the second round. So my question to you guys out there, if you have the 42nd pick in the draft, you may still be able to find a player that may be able to have enough talent that might make your roster and play some kind of minutes on a Charlotte team, which isn't expected to do very well. Are you willing to risk selecting a player that could help you more, potentially long-term, to grab a Bronny James just to sell some seats or some jerseys? So we'll try to go ahead and determine that. What's the Alias Show? Alias Show is a show that came out on ABC earlier this century. So look it up, cool bro. Go to IMDb or any other, just search Alias TV show. There you go. Absolutely. It starred, it had a great crew. It had a great crew that was there, that was part of it. If you got a chance to go ahead, or when you get a chance to go ahead and check it out, it's an okay show. It wasn't great, but Jennifer Garner did help solidify her as a leading lady for quite some time in several movies. So it's okay. It's not great. It's broadcast television. Broadcast television shows are at best for the most part. They're limited by the amount of stuff you can and cannot do and things you cannot and cannot say on broadcast television. Pork Rind says the Lakers have to do what's best for the organization, not what's best for LeBron. I couldn't agree with you more, but do you trust Rob in Pelinka in doing just that? He has not consistently done what's best for the organization over the past 4 years since the Lakers won a title. So you'll forgive me if I don't have all the faith in the Los Angeles Lakers organization right now. So yeah, that's something I have an issue with right now. So I have great concerns as well on that. Spider-Man. Cool Bro says, Gerald, what if I made a Spider-Man fan of film of him beating Thor? Good luck, my friend. Good luck. You'll need some quite a bit of funding on that to go ahead and do so. Otherwise, it may not look very good, but more power to you if you do. Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching. I thought I'd stop by tonight. Wanted to go ahead and wish you guys well on hopefully a great Lakers weekend, Memorial Day weekend. Please, on Monday, take just a moment of your day to remember those who have given their lives in honor of our country, and hopefully you will do so just for a minute. I know everybody's going to be talking about partying and the barbecues and all that good stuff, and I'm just hoping that you go ahead and be able to remember what Memorial Day is all about, even for just a moment before you go on to your festivities and whatnot. So wishing you and your family a truly blessed and happy and safe weekend. Xbox Memorial Day, it's on Monday. It's the last Monday of every month here. That's last Monday of May, of every year. What it is, it's our memorial for those who have sacrificed their lives for our service for our country. Xbox here in the States. So yeah, basically that's what Memorial Day is. Cool Bros says, happy Memorial Day weekend, everyone. Absolutely. Happy Memorial Day to you as well, Cool Bro. Truly appreciate it. Yaiken says, Rob P needs to hire a wingman with relevant GM experience. Yaiken, we actually need somebody with relevant GM experience to replace Rob P, because if he did that, he would probably feel very threatened, because I think that's what Rob Pelinka is in a very comfortable zone, because he doesn't have anyone around him like a Trajan Langdon, who just left to become the GM of or the guy behind the basketball operations for Detroit. Someone with experience underneath that's done a good job. So yeah, he's very comfortable because he's got no one around him that's threatening to take his job. And he's got all the confidence in the world from Jeannie, and that's scary. That's a very scary proposition for someone who has not been able to consistently do his job well since the Lakers have won their title. Xbox says, thanks, Gerald. We have an Anzac Day, similar thing. We have a great day. Absolutely. Looking forward to hopefully wishing you well on that day as well, and to hopefully honor individuals who have sacrificed their country for service to your country as well. So Lakers Nation, since Phil Jackson is head coach for our Lakers, Gerald, what do you think about it? I wouldn't mind, but I think Phil Jackson's body is broken down to the point where you're not going to pull him for very long from that Montana ranch, Lakers Nation. I don't think you can throw any amount of, you can back up the Brinks truck, but you are not going to be able to get him out of there, especially the fact after things between him and Jeannie went sour. Yeah, I don't think that, that situation right now between those two. I mean, if you have an ex, Lakers Nation, I think you understand what I mean. So it's kind of awkward, When he went back there for the Kobe statue unveiling, I get that and all that, but yeah, I don't think his health, because remember the last time we considered trying to bring him back, or the last time there was also that talk about him only being available for home games and not traveling. And we have Kurt Rambis, I believe, was the assistant coach at that time that was going to be considered to be the coach on the road. And I don't think that would be the case, that Phil Jackson can be available to coach any return. Yeah, Bloodhound, terrible back. He needs a special chair. He is just no longer physically able to go ahead and be able to do that. I could nominate Sean G as the Lakers' new GM. There you go. All right. Sean Grice, Magic Man, absolutely. I would say that's a very sound decision there. Or Joe Soro, I would still make him the coach. I would love to see Joe Soro as the new coach, because I would love to see how many technicals he would get over the course of a season. How many ejections would Joe Soro get? 82 in an 82 game season? That's a good question. Who's going number one in the draft? Now, I spoke at length with, if you take a look back on our channel a couple days ago, our draft expert, our draft guru himself, Stone Hansen, at report_court on Twitter. He is not as high on Alexander Sarr, who's been talked about, or Zachary Risache. He has not been as high on those individuals. His number one is Ron Holland, who was the number one draft pick, or at one time with the number one prospect. I think was it right around December? I think he was the number one prospect. Just before that game that G League played against the Perth national team, the MBL team that Alexandra Sarr was playing on, where Alexandra Sarr played so well at. That's what vaulted him to the top. So right now, depending on who you see right now, this is one of those years where there's no definitive number one. Sarr is right now the betting favorite. Risa Shea, if you talk to ESPN, a guy that's about 6'9", 6'10", and can shoot very well. Looks like he's going to be able to be a good shooter in the league. Things are projecting him out for him to be a good shooter in the league. He is also considered at the top, so don't be surprised if Risa Shea is picked. Then you have the Kentucky guys, Reed Shepherd. Reed Shepherd does a little bit of everything, and he does it pretty darn good at that level, especially shooting, where he was over 50% in college from the three. Then you also have Rob Dillingham, who's a point guard, good scoring point guard, can really handle the ball well. So he's also talked about as a high draft pick. Stephen Castle from Connecticut as a 6'7" defender, a lockdown defender. Still needs to improve his shot, but a lot of people, if you like that aspect for your team, if that's what you need, perimeter defense, you might want to consider him. Dalton Knecht, he's a scorer, but also projects out to be one of the best shooter in this year's draft. Ron Holland, again, he is a scorer and very athletic. If you got a chance to see his stuff at the G League, that's who Stone is projecting. But right now, Alexandra Sarr and Stefan Risache are the two most that are talked about, but don't be surprised if someone does pop into that conversation, like Boncaro. Boncaro in his draft, he was not always thought of until very late as the number one draft choice. So Yikin says, why is the 2025 draft going to be one of the deepest in years? If you've seen some of the talent, Yikin, starting with Cooper Flagg, who he's not 7'5" like Wembanyama, but he is extremely skilled. Look up some of the highlights for Cooper. I don't say highlights. Highlights are always bad, but try to find footage, extended footage of Cooper Flagg, and you'll see what I mean. Xbox Games Pass, Lakers Nation in the house. Better not be Trevor Lane or his 2-year-old. Better not. He did, however, Xbox, for the Lakers pick in a mock draft, he did choose Zach Edey, who is moving up on a lot of people's mock drafts, which is concerning to me. I mean, that's not what I really... The kid, I just don't know if his agility is going to be good enough in the league. Otherwise, you're always at a detriment when it comes to transition defense, setting up your defense. His agility is going to be a key on how well he does in the league. Sure, he's going to be great posting up. Can he stretch it out to the three-point area? That's still in question. He looked pretty good at the combine. We'll see, but it's interesting how some of these big guys like Filipowski, Collier, Isaiah Collier, those guys have dropped after they were a lot higher up. In fact, Isaiah Collier was once at one time the number one draft pick projected for this draft when we were heading into USC's last season. So Bloodhound says Cooper Flagg could be a great defender. He is just a really, really good player both ways, Bloodhound. I really think he's going to be something special. JSJ, he did shoot well in the combine, but again, you're not shooting and contesting against anybody, so you could be right on that, JSJ. But yes, the too slow factor is what really is going to be concerning. So where's Cooper? Yeah, he's going to Duke. Going to Duke. Cooper Flagg is. Then also Boozer, the Boozer twins, from the sons of Carlos Boozer. Good, really good right there. Bryce James might be able to move up into that draft. He is a better prospect, in my opinion, than Bronny. So we'll see. But Isan, Edey, I'm just worried about his agility, his ability to handle. And the fact is, if he's too slow, he will not be able to pair him up with AD on a front line. That's what's concerning. Plus, his rim protection for guys 7'5" it's not as good as I would like to see. And I'll leave it at that. But Zach Edey, again, if he fixes some things, you never know. You never know. I'm not going to totally discount him because he is 7'5", 299. So, but I'm thinking Filipowski, a really solid 7-footer, really good passer. He could be someone. I know that around that area, Tristan Da Silva is, our guy, our man in the nose. Stone Hansen really likes Tristan Da Silva, as far as in that area. He's talked about Jared McClain. East Missy, very athletic kid out of Baylor. You also have Khalil Ware, who's also a very athletic kid. He comes from Oregon and also Ohio State. I believe he switched over and went to Ohio State. Indiana. My apologies. Indiana. He might be able to give you something because he may be able to stretch it out to 3-point area and give you something close to a stretch 5. Not proven or not 100% on that, but again, we'll see. Devin Carter, good rebounder as a point guard. He may be in that area. So if you're interested in him, he's got really good ups. So he might be able to be something that's right in and around there. Passing the ball is still a little bit of an issue. He's not a good distributor as of yet. So definitely want to see what happens with that. But there's some decent players that should be in around the number 17 pick if the Lakers are allowed to keep it. And I believe we'll know here in 1 week whether or not the Lakers are allowed to keep the pick. That's determined by New Orleans. I have a feeling that they will give the chance to the Lakers to keep the pick. But then again, the prospect for the Lakers eventually trading that pick has to be on the minds of Lakers fans as well. And that's what JSJ says. Yes, Lakers are most likely to trade that pick. So yeah, absolutely. What position does CF play? Are you talking about when you're talking CF? Who are you CF play? Oh, Cooper Flagg. Okay, Cooper. That's right. Cooper Flagg. We were talking about earlier from Duke. Cooper Flagg is swing forward, small forward, power forward, but he is going to be a good one. Really going to be a good one. I really think that people are going to be really pleasantly surprised with what you see from Cooper Flagg. If you've not seen him already, please go out, search out YouTube, see some extended footage of Cooper Flagg, and you will definitely be very pleasantly surprised. He's 6'8" right now, just to give you an idea, but he's in that small forward, power forward range. But he has good size. He is really skilled, really skilled. And I know that they say that his scoring ability may not be at an elite level. I think he's going to get the guy. He's going to be the guy that's going to fill up the box score for whatever pro team that he's going to be on. So I think that's something that you definitely have to keep an eye on for the next year. And then again, you've got others, including the Boozer twins and other individuals that may be available in that draft as well. So we'll see what happens. But it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is Gerald Glassford. Thanks so much again for watching, listening. Truly appreciated. Again, the Dallas Mavericks. Gift or no gift, you know what? They pulled it out. They got the win, and they're heading back to Dallas up 2-0. So, yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing what happens this weekend with Boston having Indiana on the ropes, and also as well Minnesota being on the ropes with Dallas as they head into a basketball weekend right here at the Lakers Fast Break. Yaikin says, okay, so Duke will finally make a Final Four after Coach K in 2025. Very good possibility of that happening with Cooper Flagg. Yep, absolutely. So Cooper Flagg sounds like a great name for quarterback. It does, but he's in the NBA, and he's really I think he's really going to be a good one. That's just my opinion. I've seen him at a high school level, and to me, he looks really fluid. He looks, for a kid his age, you don't see many kids that fluid with the ball. So I really think that, he's going to be a good one. So we'll see what happens. But again, it is the Lakers. Again, I wanted to make sure I kind of vented out to you about my frustrations and thoughts on Bronny James and Rich Paul of Klutch, CEO of Klutch and agent of Bronny James, informing the public and teams that he will not accept a two-way offer if offered to Bronny James if he is not drafted in the NBA. So upcoming NBA draft. So there you have it. I don't know what your thoughts on it are. I think it's a little bit arrogant. I think it's a little bit misguided. I'm already kind of dismayed and feel bad for the kid that he's being pushed out there into something he is not ready for. But again, the more ESPN drives him as a prospect, the more clicks, the more shares, the more interest he gets, the more he starts taking it in about how big and how good he thinks he is, as opposed to how good and how big he actually is. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know, bro. I don't know, JSJ. That's really a low bar that's been set by JHS. I mean, that's really, really bad, but you could be right. We'll wait and see. I mean, Bronny is 6'1", has not shot the ball well, and hopefully can be a better defender than what he's shown in the league so far in the combine. So we'll see. But again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. I truly appreciate each and every one of you joining us. If you've not yet liked and subscribed, please do so. It really helps out the channel. I know that you've got every YouTuber out there saying to please like, subscribe, blah, 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 blah. But YouTube tells us to keep on asking your consumers to do that because it does help the algorithms. It does help us at the Lakers Fast Break for all of our shows, with all of our content, with all of our great panelists to go ahead and continue the kind of great work we do. We do want to get this thing where we are right there neck and neck with Lakers Nation and all the other Lakers, top end Lakers shows, because we feel that we provide you top end Laker entertainment as good as or better than anything that's out there, others for the Lakers shows that are out there. So hopefully you will go ahead and like, subscribe, share, follow, whatever you want to do and do, whether it's on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram. We are not on TikTok because Joe Soro, my cohort in crime here on the show, video that I posted out there about almost 2 months ago, got us banned on that channel. So it's a video that you can see in our shorts right down below. So I don't know how bad it was, but okay. JSJ, thank you for the kind compliment. I truly appreciate it. I know I have said Trevor Lane is like watching cardboard. And I mean, I got my standees right behind me there of Mass Effect and Uncharted. I think those guys happen to have more life sometimes than what I see from Trevor Lane. I know that's harsh. I know that's being facetious. I know Trevor Lane works hard at what he does, so I got to give him credit on that. But I think we provide more personality than what you see on a regular basis on Lakers Nation. So if you like personality, you like opinions, whether they're divisive, they're definitely divisive here on this show. I will not kid you wrong. Hopefully you'll continue to go ahead and like what we do. But Isan, yes, even you admitted right there, Bronny didn't earn his way. No. Xbox, I will leave you with this. I have played Hellblade 2. I was going to share my thoughts today, but Melinda could not do a show with me today, so I had to throw on the interview for everyone out there for the latest show for everybody listening on the Pop Culture Cosmos. But I will share more of my thoughts in detail with Josh if we can get together this weekend. But I will say for now that most of the complaints or issues and most of the compliments are right in line from what I'm seeing as well. But yes, I have played for, I think, a couple hours, closing in on a couple hours now of Hellblade 2. And it is what it is. And, again, it's the best looking and best sounding game I've ever heard on any platform for video games. Advances the technical abilities of the Xbox, but also as well video games as a whole forward. And definitely by sound and vision, it's definitely great. But story-wise and depth-wise, it is what it is. So, yes. But Hellblade 2, it is available right now. It is something that if you can get free with the Xbox Games Pass, so it's just $16 a month, or try the trial. Most of the Xbox Games Pass still has a trial, so you can go ahead and finish it. It's only 6 hours long, so there you go. Yeah, it's amazing. They do some really good work as far as visually and also audio. If you play the game Xbox, play it with headphones. The best headphones you can get. It is absolutely worth it in that sense. It's just not deep. If you're looking for deep mechanics, you're not going to find it there. It's just you're swinging a sword, solving a few puzzles, and walking around a lot, and that's it. But Pale Fox says, I'm not a fan of the SES ESPN debate, Stephen A. Smith debate and trade talk format, but I guess it is what it is. Everyone is trying it as media of old is dead. Pale, I didn't expect, I know because Joe often gets accused or pointed as being in that direction of being the loudmouth that gives you that loudmouth opinion. That's just who he is. I don't know if Stephen A. Smith is actually like that in real life, or because he's paid millions of dollars a year, he turns it up a notch. This is who Joe is. I have spoken to him for now years off camera. This is who he is. So you are getting real Joe. Does he turn it up a little bit? I don't know. I don't think so. I think when he gets genuinely mad, he gets genuinely mad. And, this is who he is. And he sounds like this off camera. If you watch our playbacks, when he's supposed to be a little bit more comfortable, he is like that even more. So, yeah, I just, it's funny because Joe gets often, mimicked alongside those talking heads. And it's just like, that's who he is. That's who he's always, from my understanding, that's who he's always been. So, Xbox says you've already 100 on only 7.5 hours, bringing it short, just the way I like it. Yeah, it's a quick one. 7.5 hours. You're actually on the longer end, my friend. So you really must have maxed it out as best you can. Because yeah, most people I've heard have said finished it in 5 hours. So there you go. The Atentacumpo brothers, Isun, I agree with you. I think teams, and yes, any team out there will tell you down the road that they probably, either drafted and or picked up an Atentacumpo brother in order to try and lure Giannis, aka when the Lakers did, when they won their championship, or that in case of Milwaukee, they brought his brother onto the team just to keep him happy. So yeah, it's again, these guys, it's not always on the name. It's always on the number on the front. Sometimes it's the name of on the back. And we with the Atentacumpos and with Bronny James, I think that's what we're seeing. Bryce, I think from what I'm seeing, again, can't make a determination 100% now, but at least I think he is on his way to being a player in this league. I didn't say a great player. I didn't even say a good player, but as being a player in this league. So, yeah. Xbox says Joe's a legend, really amazing basketball knowledge. If you don't like Joe, we don't like you. No, it's not the Xbox. There's a lot of people that don't like Joe. I read the comments. There's a lot of people that cannot stand Joe. But if they're still watching, Joe's that love it or hate it guy. Just what all we care about is that, you love him or you hate him. Just keep watching. That's all we ask. Is just keep watching. And if you hate it, tell us why. If you love him, tell us why as well. That's all we care about. So interaction with you is very important to us, and we're just truly appreciative and thank you for it. But once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. We'll try to be by tomorrow night for another great show. JSJ says, Gerald, I'm wondering why you don't promote Joe's channels. Oh, you mean like his socials? Yeah, because social, he doesn't really. I do at the JSJ every beginning. I always promote Ox1947 at LakersBall.com, which is where I found him at, and then also as well. Simblades. I promote Simblades to death. That's his company. His social media channels, he doesn't pay much attention to it. Johnny Blade on Facebook and Joe Soro LFB5, I think it is, on Twitter. He doesn't even look at his social media much. So it's really, he doesn't promote it because he really doesn't care about it. The one he cares about the most is obviously his company, Simblades with a Y.com. Ison says, I want to see Kawhi get another championship, needs to go to another team. Ison, if he stays, health will be his issue. Is he at a point in his career where he cannot stay healthy anymore? Because he seems to break down every single year. And that's the problem with Kawhi. I mean, the best of Kawhi, you may be able to still see that, but I mean, talk to Paul George. Maybe Paul George is upset year after year after year playing in the playoffs, and then you get there, and then he breaks down every single year. So you tell me. He might have to go to another team, but I think because he signed the extension, I'm not sure if the Clippers are going to be able to move off that, or if they want to, because they've got that brand new arena they're trying to put you and everybody else into. They want you to go ahead and watch Clippers games, and you got to have big names in LA to go ahead and get the people in there. So you got to have Kawhi there. You may have to re-sign Paul George to get in there. You're going to have Harden in there. You're going to have all these names. It may not lead or ever lead to a championship, but there are big enough names to get people in the seats. So to afford that brand new arena, they may need to do just that. Kawhi should have went to Lakers. Yeah, would have been maybe less wear and tear on Kawhi, but then again, he may have broken down every year in the playoffs on LeBron. So we would have been talking about that for years and years on end. So, Kawhi, yeah. Ison, that is something you and I can agree upon. His laugh is that is just so funny. Yeah, absolutely. Yaikin says Kawhi plays like a grandpa with arthritic knees, no health, no titles. But he's got one title. So he's got one great performance. And I think that will carry him to a Hall of Fame at some point in time. I think he is a Hall of Famer. Some people will disagree, but I think he did with that championship where he took his team all the way and the 4 bounces on Philadelphia and all that over the rim. So, yeah, I think that probably put him over the top on becoming a Hall of Famer. But speaking of knees, before I go, interesting tidbit came up on Lonzo Ball's podcast of all things, and that he mentioned that he had not just knee surgery, because we all know he had a knee surgery. He had a knee replacement, but somebody donated him a meniscus. He had a meniscus donation. It's very rare, but somebody gave up a meniscus and gave it to him. Whether or not they were dead, but I don't know anything that nature. I just know that somebody donated a meniscus to Lonzo Ball, which is very rare. So I'm interested to see if Lonzo will ever be able to get into the league, back into the league. He did pick up the final year of his contract. I know Chicago is going to file probably a unable to perform claim with the NBA and see how that goes. But yeah, 2 titles with the Spurs and Raptors. Yeah, you're right there. Yes, 2 titles with the Spurs and Raptors. So yeah, definitely going to get, I think, in the Hall of Fame, my son. So yeah, that's something there. Yeah, but that Toronto run is the most famous one of all, of course, that he catapulted that team. That team would not have won without him. Yaikin and those Lonzo and those awful BB shoes damaged his knees. He has done well. He could thank his father for that. So, I mean, I think the BBB will be the subject of a documentary somewhere down the line on Netflix, and you'll get to see the good and the bad, or Max, and you get to see what happened with that behind the scenes. I would actually sit down and watch that documentary. I would. Be a very funny to see a BBB documentary. I mean, if you have them, I think they are still worth some money out there. If you've got them stored up somewhere and you got some, and they're in good condition. So as collector's items. So, because people collect sneakers and all that. So enjoy if you do. But yeah, BBB proved to be a big pile of nothing. And if it did affect Alonzo's knees, only has his dad to blame for that one. But it is, of course, yes, no R&D budget. Absolutely. Just put, slap some rubber on it, put some plastic around it, get some laces, and there you go. Yep. Yeah, back in the day, JSJ, that for a little while, they were the end-all, be-all reality show of basketball, which was very fun to see. So, oh, nice Xbox. There you go. Yep, BBB, son. Those were the days. Those were the days indeed when the balls were like the Kardashians of the NBA. Yep, absolutely. But we'll see what happens. It is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break. I want to thank everybody for watching, listening, but I'm heading out for now. Hopefully we will be able to put on a show tomorrow, but definitely Sunday, you can expect the Lakerholics high noon Pacific time on Sunday. Laker Tom has demanded he come back on the air, and he's going to come back on the air with Jamie Sweet. Michael may be there. Elrod may be there. Who knows? But the Lakerholics will be there on Sunday. I will be trying to be on here tomorrow night and see what we can go ahead and do. LeBum is forcing the Lakers to draft his son. Somebody is trying to force a team or the Lakers to draft his son. I'm not going to say differently on that, Sato. Is it LeBron or is it Chris Paul? Klutch, is it Rich Paul? Is it LeBron? Is it both? You know what? It's just not a good situation. I'm very disappointed by it, but yeah. Why no Hilo in the NBA? I'm assuming it's just about dollars and cents there. But Ison, thanks. Great having you here. If you are just joining us on this channel, please like and subscribe so you can always get the latest notifications on when we're right back at you here, of course, at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. Have a great evening, everyone. Have an awesome weekend. Stay safe.